but with a bunch of marinara sauce on it.
Oh,
Marinara instead of
Disgusting.
milk.
eating it straight out of the cereal box.
I put
Nothing says good like crunchy marinara.
milk.
Yeah.
Stop
So,
that, Brent.
as you kind of step in and look around, the place is very disheveled, but you're not sure if the dishevelment of the abode is due to lack of cleanliness or signs of a struggle at first glance. So you guys kind of move into this section.
Can I investigate to see if it's a struggle?
Sure, what skills are we rolling?
I'm gonna
I
do
would be
investigation. Investigation.
Sandor
gang.
and Nick are doing investigation.
Ah,
We did not roll well.
It's okay.
Bigly sad.
6 and 10. What about Hezekiah and Ichabod and Ed?
This isn't a Reddit page.
I did it wrong again.
You're all good.
Michael, what were you rolling for?
Reddit, apparently.
Were you doing
Shit,
perception
I
again?
pissed off the rolling gods.
Yeah. Was
Yeah,
that
I
for
think-
perception?
That, I don't know, you said to roll. You said, what about me? So I rolled.
You're good. What skill did you want to do?
He did +4, so I assume perception.
Well, I have +4 for perception and investigation.
I'm
so
probably
that's
gonna
cool.
roll
We need the help for
perception as
investigation.
I'll
well.
go perception.
Just,
Okay.
He rolled a
just generally to
6.
get
That's not
the
going to help
Perception?
anybody.
Exactly.
But-
No, I rolled a 2.
Two
That's
sixes.
true.
2 6s
Okay.
better than 1 6.
Could I do investigation instead, Sam? 'Cause it's higher
Instead of
for
what?
me. Instead of perception. I want to help
Yeah,
out.
whatever
with
you
just
want.
Generally looking. Okay.
We're all investigating.
Oh,
There
ignore.
we
I think
go.
I double rolled on accident.
At this point,
First
I can't
one, the first
even
one, not the
tell if
second
this
one.
bottom floor is cold.
Oh, all you know is the floor is cold.
All I know is there is floor. I can't tell what temperature it is.
Oh, yes.
And Ichabod, what are you rolling?
I want to talk to the guards.
What do
Talking
you want to ask them?
couldn't be me.
I want to ask them where the good doctor is.
That's something we hope you can figure out. He wasn't
Ah.
here when we responded.
What was here when you responded?
He wasn't here.
How did you get word that you needed to come here?
It points to the house next door. They heard a shouting and a scuffle and
Ah.
things breaking, so they reported to the guards that were posted nearby. They were on patrol. They ran out and called.
Mm,
Sus.
nope. Don't say that. It's illegal.
Baka.
Even worse.
No,
Uh,
we're not.
Okay.
Any other
so
questions? Any other questions you want to ask?
Not right now, thank you.
So the guard eating.
Do you want to join the rolls?
Yeah, I suppose I'm not really great at this whole being perceptive. I'm not really sure what kids do nowadays. So I will. I'm looking for secret trapdoors, secret rooms.
To me, that would be either perception or investigation.
I'll do perception.
Okay. And you're specifically looking for like secrets.
Secrets.
Well, you know, and you alert the party as you start to look around that there's a door into another room.
No way.
hell yeah.
What?
Well,
But you don't find any secrets that kind of baffle you, like, oh, a trap door to the into the floor or something into an attic. Like you don't notice any of that.
check under the rug.
Investigation crew. So y'all start looking around at the house and what's going on, and you just you're trying to put together a picture of what's
door
going
did
on.
we
So
come through?
I'm sorry.
This one? Which door did we come through?
The right
This
one.
door. This is the front door. This is the back door into this little garden area, and then this is the door into the smaller room.
Okay, when you're done with that, I want to go out back and see if I see like tracks leading away from the building.
That's smart.
Good thinking.
That can be part of your. I would want a survival check for that, so you can go ahead and roll that now, and we'll get there when we get there.
Okay.
Alright, so what is the investigation gang?
So investigation gang. As you kind of you kind of look around, you start kind of comparing notes. Like, okay, so this room is probably where he would take customers and people who come in. This little like notebook here, you see that it's like a ledger of people who've come in. What do they ask for? What is he getting for them? How much is going to charge them? Okay, at least we're consistent on those
We
sixes.
are pretty consistent.
We've rolled a lot of sixes.
We are
is he
rolling low
stealing
today.
people's kidneys?
That's okay. I'm sorry?
It's like being in college all over again. All I hit is sixes.
Oh no! Wait a minute.
What are the subjects of this ledger? Is he stealing people's kidneys? Is he replacing people's limbs?
Took my kidneys.
What is he
Oh.
doing? Who was the last person that visited as well?
Who's the last person?
Yeah, most recent.
You think it's a female name? The name's Millie Mikkelsen, and she was having issues. He said dysentery. That's what he thinks it was going on. So he was going to make her a concoction to help fix that. Was dysentery.
Damn. Oregon
Actually, what's the
Trail.
one where you poop a lot? You get it from bad water. Dysentery. That one. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
The
Uh-oh.
one where you
So
shit
that was the
yourself to
last
death.
one. As you kind of flip through more, you notice that it's for all sorts of ailments. People with cuts that aren't healing properly. People that are having, they're like, oh, I can't sleep very well. All sorts of things. Anything that you think like maybe not a mainstream doctor or apothecary would fix. One person was complaining of back pain, and he wrote that he hit him really hard in the back with a stick, and it fixed it. So as you
My
also
kind
kind
of
of look at
doctor.
these notes, you kind of decide you're not really sure how together Faust is.
Well, I see medicine has gone down in its quality over the years.
At least slightly.
So,
Uh,
investigation game. As you start looking, you notice it looked kind of like an apothecary, a doctor's office. You see all these different tools. In the outer section, you find a lot of books on herbs and plants and different ingredients and what they do. You find different sets of tools like apothecaries' tools, alchemist tools, tinkerers' tools, the like, different things like that. Maybe carpenter's tools, glassblowers' tools, things like that. To make a lot of the items that you see there, or to perform different experiments and things. Similar to Skim Beeble, but less on like the technical tinkering side and more on the like natural thing. You
Right.
find a couple different elixirs, but as you walk into the back room, which Hezekiah's beat you to, because he kind of did a quick sweep and goes, nothing's really blinking on my radar. So as you go in, you notice Hezekiah is already inspecting in here, and there's some good amount of blood in there. So let me actually. You guys
What
ready
is
for
the
this? That's something
temperature
cool.
of the blood?
It's cold.
Yes.
Cold
There's
blood.
blood.
Ah. That's a lot of blood.
I hit it with the GM layer. So Hezekiah, as you're looking, it's not that there's too much blood for it to be one person's blood. So multiple people must have been hurt during this. You see some bloody handprints, some bloody footprints in there. You see some blood up against like this desk, some blood over here. Like it's just kind of generally over. So you're like, okay. You're kind of putting the piece together. Investigation crew comes in, and you guys kind of together piece together. Oh, this is where the struggle was. Like either the person was ambushed in here, or they ran into there. You're not exactly sure. The door was opened when you got there, but there's broken bottles, there's broken glass. You notice there is a. Hezekiah notices this. You notice there's like this iron tool that looks busted and broken. So you imagine, oh, that's probably what was used to stop this person from struggling. Because you notice, Hezekiah, that there's actually like drag marks in the blood that end about the entrance of the door. And you start to follow that trail as the investigation crew continues to look. Investigation crew, you guys find no like magical scrolls or magic books as you kind of look. No spell scrolls. You do notice some interesting things. And Marty, Brent, James, and Jimmy are all in this room. Hezekiah, you're about here, like looking and inspecting, trying to figure out where those drag marks go. So you pick up a journal and you kind of flip through the journal, and it's got some jumbled mess of like really interesting ideas of like epiphanies, but also like really long run-on sentences of like somewhat of a madman. So it's this weird mix of like brief flashes of intelligence mixed with like insanity.
What's normal?
Terry Davis vibes.
It recounts an encounter with Primus that's very well written, and there's like symbols around those pages of like he talks about how he was walking out in the woods one day, and the trees fell away and became stone pillars. unmoving, unchanging. And he saw before him this great deity, glorious and radiant, copper and green, that seemed to move through with perfect unison with the world. And it talked to him. It said it spoke his name, but he'd never met it before. And he said, I am sending someone to you who I will use for my purposes. I need you to heal them and help them. And then he said that he touched me on the head, and then I learned this. And you see that he talks about converting Gik's consciousness from his body into this metal thing that he built in preparation. That was something you thought was very odd, Gik, and you remember, like, he had this body ready for me. Like, how did he know? Why was this built? Because Warforged to y'all don't exist. Like, he's the first one you've ever met.
Oh yeah.
And
He's a robot.
you don't know. But as you kind of read, you go, oh, my humanity was transferred. He says that, like, specifically, I had to figure out how to transfer the humanity, and that's what Primus gave me. He showed me how to do it.
Interesting.
As you're looking, and he was transferred into the Warforged. Like, he has a name for you. A Warforged is what he names you.
Definitely.
And he said, you also notice there's an unfinished book that it looks like he's writing, like a textbook almost, or like a study almost. It's called How to Transfer and Capture Humanity. You notice that he's trying to figure out what are the effects of humanity, of like consuming it, of what happens when you move it and hold it, like how can you do all those things, like all the details in there. Some of it's hard to figure out because it looks like it's written in like really shorthand, like he's just writing down notes.
Yeah.
Like imagine, like if you see someone's work papers, but they're in a different language, and you don't know the subject. So it's you kind of you know what they're supposed to tell you, but it's really hard to discern. You might have to roll extra for that.
Right.
There's theories on the uses of humanity and its consumption of humanity, but it looks like that's the subject. You also notice there's an unfinished book called How to Animate Golems with Humanity, and
So, real
it
quick,
looks like
I'll
he's
be
trying
right
to
back.
artificially extend life. Yes.
My headset's wireless, so I'm listening, but I have to step away for a minute.
Okay. Those are the things of interest you guys kind of
Interesting.
uncover as you're looking around. And Hezekiah is, digging in blood and looking at the trails
Yeah.
as this is going on too.
Ed's just gonna say off the bat, it feels like an abduction of sorts. Someone's
Yes.
trying to use the good doctor's abilities. He's doing experiments that other people in medicine are not doing. So there's all this humanity stuff here, which is way above me, but I think someone took him for some reason.
Yeah, and that would be consistent with what Hezekiah has explained of like what he thinks the attack looked like when it
Yeah,
happened.
like the someone being dragged out, like clearly didn't want to leave. So
Yeah.
I think we
he
need
was
to.
a doctor. It's
Yeah.
possible that he just accidentally dropped all of his vials of extra blood.
It's true.
The handprints of him cleaning and slipping.
Yeah.
And then he decided to just crawl his way out.
You hate
Michael,
to see it.
you count at least 3 distinct sets of footprints,
He's
like
got 3
distinct
feet.
owners of footprints, but you don't know if there's like, it could be as much as 5, as much as 3, but at minimum it's 3 people were in this room when the blood was there.
Oh,
Okay.
Also, fun part, Marty,
He rolled something.
as you're kind of looking around, you kick this little bell on the floor, and it rolls, and you hear like a ding, as if like the noise that it makes when someone walks into a shop when they open that door.
Yeah.
And you pick it up to inspect it. It's a very simple silver bell, a little bit of carving at the bottom, and you hear like noises right in front of you, like of someone like moving towards you. And then you hear a voice. You go, "Ah, Faust, my friend, one moment, I am coming to the door." And a door opens in front of you, and it reveals a half-elf, a half-drow elf, with charcoal gray skin, really deep tar black hair. His right eye is bright blue, like almost sparkling. His
Okay.
left eye is like a blood red color.
Mhm.
And he kind of cocks his head and goes, "You are not Faust. Oh my," as he looks around at the scene. "What happened here?"
Well,
Who
I
are
was-
you?
you would.
You
know.
don't hear or see any of this unless you're Marty.
Oh.
Oh.
I was hoping you would know what happened to him.
Did we just see Marty talking to like nobody?
You
hear
see
what
her
he's
looking
saying?
at a bell.
Who is she talking to?
You just hear looking at a bell. Like the timing is different. I'll explain in a
Oh,
second.
okay.
But you see her
Ooh.
kicking and looking at a bell. Okay, Marty, and
Oh.
you hope that you can tell us that?
Yeah.
He goes, well, the last time I saw the good doctor a few days ago, we were discussing things, but I did not know that this happened. And he kind of like looks around. He looks like very concerned.
Aw.
He's not trying to hide how he feels, but he looks very concerned of like he calls him the good doctor, very similar to like how Skim
Yeah.
called him good doctor, like that loving term.
Mhm.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, I am an investigator to try and
Hmm.
find Dr. Faust.
You are looking for the good doctor.
Where I'm trying to rescue him, yes. We
Right.
think that
Is he not
might-
in here? He's not
he
here?
might have been kidnapped for nefarious purposes.
Oh no, nefarious purposes.
The
That is-
marauders, possibly marauders.
Marauders. And he kind of puts his hand, and you kind of get a chance to look at him more. He's wearing like dark black, gray, white colored clothing. He's got like a cloak around his shoulders. He's got gloves and
Yeah.
like gauntlets type. And you notice the thin silver chain hangs around his neck. And he has like you can tell that his cloak normally has a hood, but he has it down. And he has like something jumbled around here that you might think is like a face mask or like something that covers his face or something that he pulls up. As you inspect him more,
Can I
he
see
doesn't seem to have any
behind
other.
him?
When you look in behind him, you see a very cozy, comfy-looking shop. You see a coffee table in the center with 2 cups. You see 2 nice, soft-looking chairs in there, and then you see shelves of scrolls and all sorts of assorted items and weapons and all sorts of fanciful things that look very interesting. But he goes, marauders, and he touches the chain for a second and it glows, and he goes, ah, yes, the pirates. That's what Faust, what Faust told me. The marauders. But he said that they have been relatively neutral or inactive the last almost half a century.
That is what I've heard, yes.
But you said the
I'm gonna
marauders
introduce
took him.
myself. My name is Ichabod Huckabee.
Ah,
I am servant of Torm.
Torm.
Who might
I
you
know
be?
Are
you
forgive me.
from this town?
Well,
Where are you?
and he kind of smiles and he reveals like really bright white teeth and he smiles and it's a very charming smile and he goes, ah, forgive me. And he kind of like nods his head a little bit. I am Rune the Aimsai. I am not from your town or from your not from Gaian. I am how do I say this? There's not just Gaians. There are others like Gaians, but I am from what we call Eurasia. Me and the good doctor were trying to figure out why we are similar creatures but from different. We decided on planes as the correct term for this. From different planes.
Divine sense.
You cast Divine Sense?
Yeah.
I don't
Nice.
remember what that does.
Is that a paladin specific thing?
Yes,
Yeah.
because 5th edition decided Paladins should be the best thing ever.
Paladins
is
are
why-
Oh man,
damn
clerics are
crazy.
DMs
Wait,
need
hold
to
on.
bully Paladins.
You haven't picked your oath yet, have you, Marty?
I haven't picked an oath yet, but I'm going to be Oath of Ancients.
That's a good one. I like that one. I think
Yeah,
the only
end of your
paladin I ever played
turn
was Oath
within
of Vengeance.
Undead,
Fun.
within
That's a good
60
one.
feet. You know the type. Okay. So when you do this, so
I just give it a good sniff.
Rune, neither does he smell like noxious odor, nor does he noises of heavenly music fill your ears when you look at him.
Okay.
But undead go off, because as you remember, all of you are undead because you are cursed with the curse of Ayus.
Oh,
But
that's
you are
Yeah.
not like zombies and such, but that pings up in you. But it doesn't necessarily ring as evil with those undead around you.
I
but
fight
he-
for undead rights.
He sits he seems to sit perfectly in between the wonderful heavenly choir and the really terrible smelling stuff.
Thus,
I'm still gonna listen, but I gotta send an email real quick.
Yeah, you hear you feel a very kind, good presence somewhere in that room behind him, though.
okay. Well, will you be any use in finding Dr. Faust, or
We aren't sure about traveling between our areas. It's not comfortable to move between this door. Opening it isn't hard, but we haven't finished with understanding what happens when you move between planes. We have done it sometime, but it leads for me. It took time to recover. The good doctor didn't seem to recover as much when he's walked through this door. And he kind of describes it, and it picks up in your head right before he says it. When it was talking about one of those books that was talking about when Dr. Faust felt like the trees fell away and everything. He said he felt like he got really cold all of a sudden, like he walked through something very cold.
Ah.
So he goes, and as soon as you say that, he goes, it feels cold, and you almost say cold at the same time.
Yeah.
And he goes, have you traveled between planes?
No, but I have experience with cold places like this.
No, sadly, I would.
I'd like to turn around and notify the rest of the party of what I have found.
Is
Okay.
that possible at this
So-
point?
If I look back at the party, what do I see?
They're still looking at the books and looking around and investigating.
they
The moment feels longer with Rune than it feels in the room. And Rune goes, I cannot help directly. But I would love for you to be able to return him. This bell, and he points to the bell in your hands, it belongs to the good doctor. You find the good doctor, you bring him back, I will give you your own bell, and we can discuss whatever you need. And he kind of looks around at the rest of the room and goes, I deal not only in the items you've seen behind me, but in knowledge and secrets as well. I can maybe look for something that would be helpful for you, but I don't think that this incident is within my abilities.
Well, I see scrolls behind you.
Yes.
If you have a locate creature, locate person scroll, that could narrow down the investigation. I might not be able to cast it though.
So, let's go. James, give me a number 1 through 12.
7.
Marty, roll a
Good choice.
d12.
I will roll a d20.
Give Vorpal Blade. Give.
Vorpal Blade or quit.
He says, locate the creature, I might. And he looks back and he goes, and his demeanor changes instantly. Like he's like smooth talking, very charismatic to almost like puppy, like struck, like love struck. And he looks back and he goes, Ashima, my dear, would you please look and see if we have locate creature? And you see stand up and move like through the view that you can. This like graceful, like tall, slender moon elf. She has like the alabaster skin, the dark blue hair, and like she almost looks like she glides as she moves. And you see Rune just kind of look at her for a second, and like his mouth slightly opens, and he like goes, he just shakes his head and looks back. I don't know why she likes me. And he looks back at her, and she looks and she goes, yes, and she walks up and hands it to him, and he like kind of like almost like slumps a little bit as she puts it in his hand. She goes, thank you. And she goes, of course. And she walks back out of view. And he goes, I do have a locate creature spell. What level is that spell?
It's 4th level, actually. I don't know. That's I didn't realize it was that big of
If
a
it's
hole.
on your spell list, it just requires an Arcana check to cast.
It's a divination spell. Is it in the paladin spell list?
Hold on. It might be on my spell list.
Actually, it is, and
It
locate
is?
object is as well.
Nice. We're
Okay.
gaming.
In one level, I'll be able to cast it. Not that I'm about to level up, though.
Level 4, locate creature. You have it. So he goes, and he kind of looks you up and down. You are not Crusader, Paladin, correct?
Correct.
Good. I don't know if you can cast this, but good luck. And he says, this time, for a friend to help him, no charge. Next time, there will be charge, of course.
That's fair.
And he hands you the scroll. So you have one locate creature scroll. And as you like reach out, the scroll feels colder than normal as it passes through that threshold.
Did we just see Marty standing there and then suddenly holding a piece of paper?
She's still looking at the bell.
Okay.
But this hasn't, like, it hasn't taken as long as it has between me and her.
Right,
You guys
I
are
see
doing
what-
all those
yeah.
things that we talked about.
Yeah.
This feels as long as it does between me and her to Marty. But this hasn't felt any different. She's just kicked the bell and looked at it, but it didn't make a sound when she
I
kicked
like
it.
this. This is spooky.
We have to believe in Christmas to hear the bell.
Yes, thank you. I was really hoping someone would make that joke.
And trains.
Oh god, I'm still muted.
Tom Hanks is,
No, you're not.
is every character.
Damn,
in
you're
this.
right.
Yeah, Tom Hanks is every character.
Yo, Jimmy, if you want
What's
some
up?
whiskey, come over.
Is that anything else, Marty?
I think I'm good right now, but I appreciate it.
Well, Rune, how often can I use this bell that I've just acquired? Can I call you nonstop? How often can I call you?
I mean, kind of chuckles. I do like to sleep, so I may or may not answer, but it's not because I don't like you. You seem very likable. But, and part of you goes like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know why that compliment meant so much to me.
I haven't gotten a compliment in like 1,000 years.
He goes,
1,000 years.
What?
Wait, hold on.
I would appreciate if you call on me for a purpose and not just because you would like to talk. I am very busy. This shop does not just service the good doctor.
You hit this guy with the what you doing?
I will respect your time.
What did you say, Michael?
So hit him with the what you doing.
Oh, yeah. What you doing after this?
Yo, you up?
But
3
he goes,
a.m. text.
when I give you your bell, it will allow me to know if you ring. But until this, keep this bell until you bring. Or he points to the bell. Keep that bell until you find the good doctor, please.
Will do.
Nice.
Please, and find him quickly.
Of course. We will do our best.
And he nods. And anything else you'd like to ask him or talk to him about?
Not that I can think of at the moment.
So he kind of nods and he closes the door. Marty, you turn around and in your hands you have a locate creature scroll and a bell. And she did not have that scroll before she kicked that bell. Friends,
teleporting
that's
scroll.
all that you notice about that
Where did
encounter.
you
She
get
was just
the
looking at
scroll?
bell.
I think I found out how the assassins are teleporting.
By looking
tell.
at a bell.
Here. I'll hand the bell and
Is it called bellaporting?
Oh no!
Cracked
Classic.
the code.